Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, thanks for downloading the show. It's my birthday episode and I have a lot in store for you on this one. Coming up on the show will be the listener who sends in the homemade songs for guests, the first guest on the podcast, and my good friend comedian Mama Kate, the announcement of a returning guest who is a listener's favorite. You don't want to miss that. World touring comedian and psychic Karen Rontowski will be here. But first, the man who has motivated me to get in the best shape of my life, from season 19 of the hit CBS show Big Brother, and from Mark Jansen Fitness. Pretty sure you figured it out by that name. It's Mark Jansen. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Great intro and happy birthday.
Thanks, man. It's a pleasure to have you on. I was a big fan from the Big Brother show. It was.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was definitely a crazy summer, crazy experience.
Dude, so many people talk about how scripted they think those kinds of shows are. But there was one incident that was absolutely, there was no way, I guess they could have scripted it, but you could tell it was real, was when Josh double tapped the cue ball and you guys got that big fight. There was so much realism in that. And
yeah,
man,
it's not scripted at all. And you can't make some of the stuff up that happened in the house, and just so many emotions. And I mean, you're just locked in to the house with the same people, and it's hot. And I was on slop for like majority of the summer. Josh was just annoying the hell out of me the entire summer, but especially that week. And that day, it's just like a full bowl of emotions.
For people who don't know what Big Brother is, it's where 16 people live together in a house with a walled-in backyard. They can't leave. They can't watch TV, nothing like that. They compete for power to nominate two people to evict each week until there's one winner. And Big Brother is unlike any other reality show because in addition to being on primetime television for an hour a night, they're on 3 nights a week for 3 months. And you guys are being recorded all day, every day.
Yeah, the live feeds 24/7.
Yeah, and there are cameras everywhere, no matter where you go in the house, in the yard, no matter what. Like you said, it's being live streamed 24 hours a day. What's it like to know that no matter where you go, there is somebody out there watching you? That has to...
Well, truthfully, you think it's going to be weird, and then, well, at least for me, I can't speak for the other house guests, but you get in the house, and then it's just like, it just becomes normal so quickly. At least it did for me, and I think I just adapt quicker to different extreme situations, I guess I'd say, because that's what Big Brother was. So I really didn't even think twice about it. You're kind of like aware of sometimes when you get really upset, like, the things you're going to say about somebody or stuff like that. But for the most part, the cameras didn't really stop me from anything.
I've heard people say that once you get in there, you're kind of aware of that fact for maybe the first 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just a regular house.
Because it feels normal. Like there's no, like you, especially for people who are doing it for the first time. Now, like if I were to go back in the house, I could like completely understand what's going to happen after and all the backlash from what's happening in the house. But first time going in that house, there's no way I ever imagined coming out of the house to what I was going to come out to. Yeah. So it's just like, and like you're just living, and that's your reality.
If people aren't big fans, they probably don't know this, but there was a lot of controversy surrounding your season. What was it like for you to come out of the house? What were you expecting versus what the reality was?
And it was what I expected. While I was living in the house, I felt like I was crazy because I was a Big Brother fan. After being in the house for the summer, I realized that I didn't really know the game like I did, like I should have going into the house. And it was just like, there was just a lot of harassment in the house. And I've never been for that. You know, I was bullied as a kid. And then I got into I was D1 football player, got into bodybuilding. So I basically went from being bullied to being the guy that nobody's really going to mess with. So I've just never really dealt with anything like this. And it's just hard to just stomach. That's where the cameras come into play. I'm like, you guys, like, people are watching this 24/7. What in the world? Like, this isn't like acceptable. I understand Big Brother, like there's backstabbing and this and that, but when somebody's out of the house and all you're doing is sitting in a room harassing their character, or even if they're in the house attacking their looks or the background that they come from, it blows my mind. I've just never been somebody to do that. So it was an interesting environment for me.
And that's one of the evolutions of the TV show. Is when it first started, there wasn't social media, the internet wasn't as prevalent, and now these guys, they're being live streamed 24 hours a day. It might not make the cut on TV, but somebody out there is watching it. They're gonna take a clip and post it on Twitter, and once that starts going around, you're still exposed. So no matter how well you think that the producers are going to save your ass, it's still not going to cover you.
Exactly, and that's again like that's why I truly believe like the way you are in the house, and you may like tone down or exaggerate some part of your personality, but for the most part, you are who you are.
Yeah.
And so like the whole thing is just a game. It's just like, it's really like, I mean, how me sitting in a room bashing somebody that has nothing to do with their gameplay, just them as a person, does not help benefit me. To it costs somebody $500,000. That's like where my vote went. And bashing somebody just to talk, I don't get it. And they are who they are. And I wasn't cut out for Big Brother. Big Brother's a social game. It wasn't for me.
Dude, I got so wrapped up in trying to defend Cody that I think I lost so many Twitter followers because they were like, what the hell's this guy talking about? He's never tweeted about Big Brother, and suddenly he won't stop trying to defend this guy.
It's because Cody's simple. I mean, he really, like, I loved him from like maybe day 3 when we finally had a conversation, because he's hard to read. I mean, he's a military man. Like, he's got no emotion. So the first time I introduced myself, I didn't know if he hated me or would want to work with me. But then as soon as I started talking to him, I loved him. But this is where like the Big Brother and real life come into play. Like, this is a game. But at the end of the day, if you want to attack him as a game player, okay, you put up Paul the first week, you're an awful Big Brother player. Okay, that's fair. But now you're attacking his personality and him as a person. And then I'm like, this guy served our country, and you guys are just bashing him. Like, if you want to say he's a bad Big Brother player, that's fine. I mean, he kind of screwed up my game from the beginning, but I'm not defending that. But him as a person, I mean, his daughter's at home watching, and you're just having like 10 people just bashing him. And I'm just like, it blows my mind how people act. And then those people are defended by people like on Twitter and stuff. I just got off Twitter because I can't. It's just crazy. So, I can't even explain it. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, I understand, because one of the biggest reactions I think I've ever gotten on Twitter was somebody posted something about Alex, and I trollingly defended her. And I wasn't really defending her. I just did it because I thought it would be funny. And man, did I get some backlash on that. It was something else. But we're trying to.
Twitter, you can't win.
No.
I mean, and I guess that's just like life. But like, at least for me, because I know the kind of person that I am, and back in Buffalo, like, it's like you're around certain people and you do certain things. So it's like, for the most part, you understand how people look at you and like how you're perceived and stuff. But then you jump on Big Brother, and then it's just like you're exposed. You're exposed to 6-7 million viewers, however many people watch the show. Especially nowadays, people are so miserable, they just want to hate people for a reason and try to put other people down.
Yeah, you can't be fake all day, every day, especially for 3 months.
Yeah.
It just won't work, man.
So true.
We're going to switch gears here. What was your funniest moment? You were in the house for, God, at least 2 months, if not 2.5, right?
I was in the house for 65 days. It was a very interesting season because I finished 9th place, I think, and I only missed like 20 days. So like they really like left as many people in as long as they could. But yeah, I was in the house for like 2 months, and it was the funniest moment. Hot sauce. I mean, the pickle juice in the face.
And for people who sorry.
No, and that's like another thing. It's just, for me, my intentions are never bad. Like, I was never like, I'm gonna like humiliate this kid, or I'm gonna throw the little hot sauce in the drink in his eyes and hurt him. Yeah. I'm just like, I grew up watching wrestling. It's funny. Like, when I hang out with my buddies back home, it's just like we mess with each other. Josh wanted to act like a friend, and he was just annoying the hell out of me. It was funny. Like, and then people are like, "Oh, you're a bully for doing that." If I was a bully, then I would stand over him. I would talk shit about him as a person. like he was doing to me that had nothing to do with Big Brother, I could have hurt him if I wanted to. That's bullying, and I even apologize for it.
Well, what got me was all this happened over a misunderstanding that we kind of went over earlier in the show where he double tapped a cue ball and he blew it way out of proportion. And if I'm remembering right, didn't he throw like ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise all over you?
After.
Okay.
It was after, but it wasn't, see, and that's another thing with Big Brother. So it's not like it was just that one incident why I just like blew up. It was the 3-4 days just living, like him just like being obnoxious to another level and me just listening to him nonstop. And I'm like, it just, you know, everybody just hits a point.
Well, there was a lady on the show. Her name was Raven. She seemed to make up a lot of stuff. And to be honest, in the end, it was kind of entertaining just to see what she would come up with next. What was one of your favorite lies that she told you in the house? Or what was something that when you left the house, you thought she was lying about and you were shocked to find out it was actually true?
No, I didn't think see, and this is the thing. I think because, like with Big Brother, I had a few people that I liked being around. Because I'm not a fake person. So if I don't really like you or we don't get along, I can't just sit there and like listen to your stories. So I was never around her with telling her all these stories. Like I would hear things in passing, and I wouldn't even like think twice about it because I never really paid much attention to what she was saying. So she's just like a whole nother.
The best thing was, I don't want to just go off on her, but the funniest part was she just had a different accent at different times of the day. It wasn't like she even waited a while.
When her and Matt were around, the accent got so obnoxious. It was painful to live with.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I wasn't in the house for it, but I heard when Matt got evicted, that whole week she didn't have an accent. And then she came in the jury house and the accent was just amplified.
Are you going to be watching this next season of Big Brother? I know you said you're a Big Brother fan. I didn't know how that would affect you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I'm a competitor. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I grew up in sport athletics and I'm a competitor. I got 9th place to an awful cast. Like, I mean, the 8 people that beat me, like, I just shake my head and it's comical, but I'm a competitor. You know, it still pisses me off because it's a game. I did horrible, especially to certain people. So it's just like, it's bitter and people don't really understand that. And so I truthfully don't know.
Before we move on, as a Big Brother fan, I want to personally thank you for voting against Paul in the finale.
Yeah, of course.
Because I remember watching that and I almost turned the show off because I'm watching the people vote and I thought, you know, Paul's going to win this. Yeah. And they started counting the votes and I thought, oh my God, dude, it was like watching my favorite team win the Super Bowl just to see Paul not win the show. It didn't matter who was up there with him as long as he didn't win.
That right there, because being in the house, listening to fans talk and knowing Big Brother, being a fan, it was black and white who played a better Big Brother game. It wasn't close. But for the fans, if it was just a bitter jury, then all the fans would have just been pissed. But the fans were kind of split, and I think it was like more towards they're happy Paul lost, because I get a lot of those kind of reactions because he's a piece of shit. Use my language on your podcast.
No, you're right.
But that cost him the game. I don't like to associate with people like that, and I can't stand people like that. And I liked him in the beginning, and I was cool with him mostly throughout the show. And I saw him doing his back like scheming stuff. And I tried to talk to Jason, my only real ally who I thought could help. But then it just like towards the end, like just hearing him still bash Cody. And I'm like, dude, like,
he'd been going forever.
Yeah, and then and the stuff he would say about other people, and then, you know, people talking the jury house, and then hearing the stuff he said about me, just no need for it.
Yeah, he way overplayed the game. And if you didn't see the show, all you need to know is this guy would describe things he didn't like as gumpy. And if that doesn't give you douche chills, I don't know what will. But yeah. Mark is also a personal trainer and has his own business called Mark Jansen Fitness. If you're a regular listener, you've heard me talk about this before. But Mark, you want to tell listeners what you would like for them to know about Mark Jansen Fitness?
This is definitely the best thing that came with the platform from Big Brother. I was a personal trainer before, and I lost over 100 pounds myself, and I just love the gym. So after the show, I wanted to help as many people as I could. And what I realized right off the bat was people would only want to do my kind of stuff if they had interaction with me. And so I knew, like, the more interaction I gave people, the more people, because it's right after Big Brother, I had a good amount of fans, they would follow. And what I realized is fitness and health, it's really the simplest things. I'm sure you've heard me talk about it in the videos in the Facebook group, but you eat healthier and you work out more. It's really that simple. Even if you don't know how to work out, walk more. If you don't know how to eat healthy, don't eat as much bad food. Like, it's so simple. But what it is people don't have the motivation, or the biggest thing, they don't have the support group. And when I say support group, I mean, if your family or friends, they don't have the same lifestyle, or they don't want to lose weight or get into shape like you do, you can't, like, it's very hard to do on your own. And I know that from firsthand, that the only people I surrounded myself with was people that I meet in the gym, work out with friends who had the same goals as me. A lot of people don't have that. So I created a community, and I didn't really know how it was going to go. And then I just started seeing the interaction on the Facebook group. And so it just really blew up, and you just joined the 6-week challenge. And that was my biggest challenge, about 300 members, which is just incredible for a community like that.
Yeah, like Mark said, I was part of his most recent session called the 6-week Summer Ready Challenge, and I lost over 20 pounds. So I fully endorse him and the program. I went from 197 pounds down to 175. So my doctor even supervised the weight loss because I burned so much off. I thought, man, I want to make sure that I'm doing this in the healthiest way possible. And she signed off on it, said everything I was doing. Me personally, I went pretty hard because I wanted to send you my before and after pictures, and I wanted you to have to put an asterisk at the bottom of my name that says results not typical, like you see on TV.
I love that.
That was my mindset going in. And if you have,
that's an incredible mindset to have.
If you have that kind of mindset, this is going to work for you. You can check it out. Go over to markjansenfitness.com. When's your next class going to be, Mark?
So I'm starting at June 13th, my actual birthday. Nice. So I'm going to do a nice little summer challenge for – summer's a tough time because people – they're either in shape or they're not in shape.
Yeah.
And so it's like you either have the beach body by now or you don't, and you just get frustrated and you fall off. So I'm going to do something fun to just help people stay accountable. That's the biggest thing, is just staying accountable and staying consistent throughout the busy summer.
And if you want to lose weight or just get in shape, look into it. And if you join, tell Mark that you heard about it here. And let me know, too, because it would be nice if we could kick some ass together. I'd love to have some listeners in the group, and like you said, to help keep each other accountable. And I'd love to have you on the show again in a couple months. We can talk about... I'd
love to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Great. And I also would like to ask if you would be cool with being the official personal trainer of the We Don't Have Cookies podcast.
I would love that, Jason. Thank you. I would absolutely love that.
Is there anything else you want to promote before we go?
Mark Jansen Fitness. That's really the biggest thing that I've been working on.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show. I'm going to play the Happy, Happy Birthday song by the Arrogant Worms, and I'll be back with comedian Mama Kate.
Once a year we celebrate with stupid hats and plastic plates. The fact that you were able to make another trip around the sun. And the whole clan gathers round and gifts and laughter do abound. And we let out a joyful sound and sing that stupid song. Happy birthday, now you're 1 year older. Happy birthday, your life still isn't over. Happy birthday, you did not accomplish much, but you didn't die this year, I guess that's good enough. So let's drink to your fading health and hope you don't remind yourself your chance of finding fame and wealth decrease with every year. Does it feel like you're doing laps and eating food and taking naps and hoping that someday perhaps your life will hold some cheer? Happy birthday! What have you done that matters? Happy birthday! You're starting to get fatter. Happy birthday! It's downhill from now on. Try not to remind yourself your best years are all gone. If cryogenics were all free, then you could live like Walt Disney and live for all eternity inside a block of ice. But instead your time is set, this is the only life you get. And though it hasn't ended yet, sometimes you wish it might. Happy birthday! You wish you had more money. Happy birthday! Your life's so sad it's funny. Happy birthday! How much more can you take? But your friends are hungry, so just cut the stupid cake. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Bill, Stanley, Frank, Skippy, the Dickie, and Bob.
Want to contact the show? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail.
I am a huge Big Brother fan, so having my last guest on was kind of a birthday gift to myself. I'm sorry that it wasn't as funny as it could have been because I turned into a fanboy and was asking him all kinds of questions about the show and probably didn't give enough backstory if you're not familiar with Big Brother, but I promise that next time I'll keep the Big Brother talk shorter. And I'm also really happy to have him as a member of the We Don't Have Cookies family. And if you're a new listener because Mark was on the show today, please subscribe to the podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, SiriusXM Spoke, Stitcher, even as a skill on Amazon devices, as well as YouTube and Roku. I thought Mama Kate was going to be joining me, but she couldn't make it. Ironically, one of the things I was going to talk to her about is how every year on my birthday episode, something always seems to go wrong. I thought this year we'd break the streak, but things happen. The first year I was having a birthday episode on the radio and she was going to be the first guest, but she canceled about an hour or so before the show started, and that just kind of threw things for a loop. And I asked the next guy on the run sheet if he could come in a little early. That was my friend, comedian Mike Morris. He came in early, and while he was there, he read a eulogy that he wrote for me. It was pretty funny, and soon we went into break, and the next guests were coming into the studio. I was greeting them, thinking about the topics for their segments. I had a million things going through my head. On Mike's way out, he said, "I'm going to tell everybody you died on Facebook tomorrow." I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I just laughed and said goodbye. And my actual birthday was the next day. And when I woke up, I saw where he posted that I was dead. So after the surprise wore off, I left a comment letting people know that he was just kidding. Then I realized he posted the same thing on my wall. There were a couple of concerned comments on it, and I left a comment there too. And then I messaged him and asked, like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he told me, "Hey, I told you I was going to do this at the radio station last night. I thought you knew." And we just kind of laughed about the whole thing. I didn't think much more about it. Spent the day with my wife. We got out of the movies. I checked my phone and I realized he posted the same thing in a Facebook group for local comedians that we were both in. I didn't catch that one. People were upset and it was a mess. I know he really didn't mean to start any trouble, but it didn't go over too well. And I wasn't mad at him, but I think some of the other people kind of were, and a few people thought that we planned this. And the next episode, I explained to everybody what really happened that week. And the next week, Mike came in to tell his side of things. It was crazy. I was in 2016, the early days of the podcast. And speaking of the early days of the podcast, here is a message from a man who hasn't been on the show since 2015.
Hey guys and girls, this is Father Time, the old fart company guy. I will be on the Jason Marshall show sometime this month, so stay tuned. It's going to be a far out, fantastic, funny show. Stay happy and stay funny.
That's right. Father Time is back on the show this month. Despite having his own era of the show and being a listener favorite, he ended up being one of the few people to ever get banned from the show. But we buried the hatchet, and he will be returning very soon. Going back to Mama Kate, the biggest reason I wanted to have her on the show today was to play her a song that was sent in by listener John Garabedian, who you might remember as the guy who sent in songs for myself, Kenny Bolin, and Mike Canistero. I wanted to see her reaction to his song about her, but I'll play that for her when she comes in for the 3-year anniversary. That'll be happening later next month, but I'm going to play that for you guys right now, and when it's over, I'll be joined by John Garabedian.
My name's Mama Kate, and just so you know, I keep all my friends in shape when I make their days go so great. And just because I do it, it's just because it's like it's going out on a date whenever the show goes on in tip-top shape.
My next guest has made some very unique songs for me to play for guests. I'm excited to have him on the podcast. It's John Garabedian. How you doing, John?
All doing great for Jason, and I've got everything controlled and everything set up.
All right. Well, it's my birthday episode. I couldn't think of a better time for you to be on the show for the first time. It's a pleasure to have you. How did you get into the podcast?
Well, it was all because of Dan the Step. I'm like, whoa, that's a big guest that I'll be meeting this weekend, and what would be better than having him on the show at first, just because of Jason.
You've sent in quite a few songs for the podcast. Some of them I haven't even played yet. Is making the song something that you do regularly?
Not regularly. It's just like I keep in my head, like saying what's going to be next to keep some rap to get everyone saying like just one word. And then, okay, what can be good with that? Like, what day is it today? It's birthday for Jason, so what can good with day? So that would be a birthday rhyme for you.
Can you make a birthday rhyme real quick?
Not at all. And there could be a different sound to this, by the way, just because it's a big day.
Okay.
Jason. 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 Oh, Jason, happy birthday. I hope you enjoy your day, 'cause today is your day. Happy birthday. I can't believe what I was told. I just saw Jason just turn 8 years old. I know nothing more. He wants to winning some championship gold, because I know it's something that he'll just want to hold. I know something that he'll never have sold. Happy birthday, Jason.
I love it, man.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure for that.
That was really nice. I like the background music too. That's a first.
Oh yeah, it's either going to be 2 different ones, but I did the Adams just because you're an Adams family guy and being like a family brother.
Well, speaking of that, John, I really like you. I think you're very entertaining. I want to make you an official member of the We Don't Have Cookies family and have a song on here for a guest from you on the podcast at least once or twice a month. Are you cool with that?
Not at all.
Awesome. Thanks for being on here for my birthday. I'd like to have you back for the 3-year anniversary. Hopefully you can make it. That's going to be late July, early August. Is there anything that you'd like to promote before you go, your Twitter handle or something along those lines?
Oh, it's mostly like Facebook. I'm not big on the Twitter, but I do bump it in once in a while. It's at johnsongman.com. Well, at John Songman.
All right. Is that something we should call you, John the Songman?
And I recently just added the nickname, so why not? It can be Songman or Songwriter, just to go for a different name so everyone will know an easier way, just because the last name's hard as always.
Well, can you give us one more song to take us into the break?
Not at all, and I did have this one planned and saved, so let's hear this one. I'm Jason, and just so you know, I'm a great radio host. Oh, yes, it's true, and I can do a show much better than you. I'm a great radio host, 'cause that's my thing, because I know when people call into my show when the phone rings. I'm a great radio host, and if you ask why, I'll explain it to you in front of your eye.
I love it.
Anytime. Good.
All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back.
When I was a kid, teachers were elderly, even though a few of them were only 23. But when I turned 23, I knew I was too young, 'cause old age had not begun until 31. Then I turned 31, and suddenly I knew you did not get old till around 42. Now I'm 45, but it doesn't bother me, 'cause you're not even middle-aged until you're 63. I don't want to get old, and I never will, 'cause each year that I age, older gets older still. Hope I die before I get old. Yeah, I used to say, but I'm gonna live forever. Old is getting older every day. But somehow the young seem to keep on getting younger. They all look the same, they've multiplied in numbers. I went to a hospital to emergency. I'm pretty sure a 12-year-old girl treated me. But you know what, I don't need a doctor anyway. I'm gonna live forever, cause I found the way to the fountain of youth. The path could not be clearer, just lie to yourself and stay away from mirrors. I don't want to get old, and I never will. Cause each year that I age, older, it's older still. Hope I die before I get old. Yeah, I used to say, but I'm gonna live forever. Cause old is getting older every day. Yeah, I'm gonna live forever. Old is getting older every day. Yeah, old is getting older every day. Oh, my legs.
Saving the best for last, my next guest has toured the world headlining comedy clubs. She's been on so many radio and TV shows I can't list them all. She's a funny comedian, a talented tarot card reader, but more importantly, she's my friend. It's the one and only Karen Rontowski. How you doing?
Yay! Happy birthday, Jason.
Thank you. And thanks for being on the show today. I know you're very busy. You tour all over doing stand-up, and you have 2 podcasts of your own. How do you do it all?
You know what? I don't breathe. I am. I'm overwhelmed, and I keep hoping someday that's going to slow down, but it does not. But when is your birthday?
June 9th.
June 9th.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me do a little numerology while we're talking. June is the sixth month. So it's 6/9. Okay, so that's 15, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I told you about this. You are going into a personal year 8, which is all about money and business, my friend. It is, if you are on the wrong track, it will be straightened out. If you are on the right track, it will just be enhanced.
I think I can speak for my wife as well as me when I say, thank God.
Yeah. Yep, it's coming. It's coming.
The last time you were on the show, you gave listeners a promo code, WDHC10, to get 10% off a tarot reading from you on your website. Do you want to give listeners a sample of what they can expect by doing a quick one for me?
Sure. I have what I have out for you is a general read, which what I do is the general read comes out first, and it really is very general. But as I go on with the reading, people might say, tell me about my career or my family or this, that. And at that point, I can get way more specific. But since we have like a minute, I'll give you this quick general read for you, my friend.
Awesome.
First of all, there is a family situation, which has been kind of stagnant, which will be wrapping up well. Okay. When I say family situation, you and your wife are on the same side. I don't know how else to say that. So it seems to be a little bit of a bigger in-laws or something like that, but it looks very, very good. Okay. Now, after that, I feel like there's going to be a little disappointment because certain things are going to be exiting your life that are, it's just about change. That's what I want to say. It's like there's change coming. And as you're watching things leave your life that you do not need, it's going to be like, wait, what's going on? What's going on? Financially, things are about to get better. I think that's a little ways down the road, but I feel like there's finances are going to start straightening out in a nice way and a good way. And that is going to give you the independence to do exactly what you want. And here's the thing. When you get that independence where you're like, I could do what I want, it causes a lot of anxiety. Because are you a little afraid of that?
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Okay, well, it's coming. So get yourself some I don't know, a glass of wine or some pot or something to calm you down, because it looks like a good time. It looks like also there's a new launch of something. And I don't know that I mean like it could be another podcast or this podcast or something else, but it looks like you're going to have a new launch. That's how I want to put it. So that looks good. Your marriage looks good. I like your wife.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's a very hard interaction when you don't like their wife.
that would make our conversation very awkward.
Right. Sometimes I'm like, who the hell are you married to? Get rid of that. Get that. No, I wouldn't do that.
Karen, I got to stop you. We have a caller.
Oh.
We have a call coming from the Swiss comedian who has dedicated her life to raising awareness of Switzerland. It's Fran Kissling.
Hello, Jason. Who is your guest today?
It's Karen Rontowski.
That is not a Swiss name. I don't like your chances. I will now do a Swiss quiz. I will ask you a series of questions. If your answer is Swiss, you get a Swiss point. Can you name a year in which the Swiss tennis player Roger Federer was not born?
Last year.
That's a Swiss answer. You have one Swiss point. What is the name of the only steamboat on my local lake, the Lake of Thun? Hint, it begins with B.
It's potato chip.
Amusing.
It's not
That
the
is
B.
not a Swiss answer. The most famous animal rights lawyer in Switzerland once prosecuted a man for taking too long catching a pike. What is his name?
Eric Trump.
You're very funny. That's not a Swiss answer. I'm sorry, you have not passed the Swiss quiz. Jason will email you a pamphlet on how to become more Swiss. Goodbye, Jason. Goodbye, Jason's guest.
Well, that didn't go well at all.
No, it did, but I want to thank her for calling in. She did give me pamphlets to email out to guests, so I will be sending that your way. And
All right. It'll just remind me of my horrible failure here on the quiz.
well, hopefully next time you can be more Swiss and you'll pass that test.
Oh, God. All right. I'm going to work on that.
Well, Karen, I don't quite remember where we were before that, so this might be a good place to end things. Is there anything that you'd like to promote before you go?
Just Paranormal Karen, my podcast. Things are getting really good there, really interesting. So I was a little new at it at first, but they keep getting better with everyone. Pretty soon, I'm not sure when it's coming out, I'm solving the Malaysia Air 370 predicament.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
It is.
All right, guys, make sure you check that out. And also, don't forget, if you want to get a tarot reading from her, go to KarenRontowski.com. And when you do sign up for a tarot reading, just enter WDHC10. That gives you 10% off. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back.
Needing help to remove any obstacles or challenges that might be holding you back from success in your business or personal life? Let me help you create a course of action that will take you to the next level personally and professionally with some bad life coaching. And remember, freaking out when making mistakes is okay.
Want to contact the show? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail.
I want to thank my guests, Mark Jansen, John Garabedian, and Karen Rontowski for being on the show today. I also want to thank Fran Kissling for calling in and Father Time for his announcement. I don't bring this up much on the show, but if you had a good time, I would really appreciate it if you went to wedon'thavecookies.com, scroll to the bottom of the homepage, click the donate button. Anything you want to give is very appreciated. That's it for me this week. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you have a great week. I'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time.
He's a piece of shit.